Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a case where officers found a city councilman passed out behind the wheel after the use of illegal drugs. He tried his best to escape the consequences, but eventually paid the price. On May 15, 2023, an officer from the Cranston Police Department was out on patrol duty when he was informed by a civilian that there was a subject inside a parked vehicle nearby who was allegedly choking on something and appeared to have passed out behind the wheel. The civilian assumed that the subject might have suffered from a heart attack and hence requested the officer to check on the subject. As a result, the officer located the parked vehicle and immediately made contact with the subject. The man, 41-year-old Matthew Riley, is an attorney and former Rhode Island City Councilman who is well known in the area for political reasons. As soon as the officer approached Mr. Riley's vehicle, Mr. Riley could be seen passed out, holding a crack pipe in his hand. The officer promptly woke Mr. Riley up and asked him to step out of the vehicle so he could be searched for any weapons. Mr. Riley appeared to be visibly startled and confused, but managed to comply with the officer. At one point, the officer realized who Mr. Riley was and sounded to be in disbelief.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
I'm just gonna pat you down.
Yes, sir.
Put interlock your fingers. Interlock your fingers. Do you have any weapons on you?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
All right.
Roads open, prospect
You're
taken
gonna
care
stop.
of.
Try not to.
Rotate on.
Oh, no way, dude. Really?
Yes, yes. I was just on my way back from court.
Bro. Well, a rescue's gonna come check you out, man. I can't let you go. You were literally choking in your sleep. Somebody flagged me down about it.
Oh, I have sleep apnea. I'm sorry.
Well, and then you have a crack pipe in your hand, so it's like. Come on.
Wait, sorry.
Listen, I have a body camera. Obviously, everything
obviously.
I have is recorded. You know that, and what I've observed is on camera, so I can't pretend I didn't. You know, so a rescue's gonna come here, and they're gonna check you out. You know, as far as I know, there's no drugs anywhere, so I can't. You know, so there's not a criminal investigation. There's more a health or well-being check type thing.
Thank you.
But yeah, I obviously have to document it. You know.
It's to be noted that Mr. Riley was clearly expecting to be let go thanks to his political background. He even appeared to be shocked when the officer told him that he wasn't going to be allowed to drive away from this situation, since everything was captured on the body cam. To make things worse, Mr. Riley tried to justify himself by claiming that he has sleep apnea, which was his excuse to cover up the fact that he was choking in his sleep because of drug use. As a result of Mr. Riley's fear, he asked the officer whether he would be arrested. In response, the officer implied that no arrest would be made as long as there was no drugs inside Mr. Riley's vehicle. And in response, Mr. Riley assured the officer that he was indeed not in possession of any drugs. This point is to be noted as things change up pretty quickly later down the line. After this, the officer questioned Mr. Riley about his drug use, asking him how long he's had the problem. Mr. Riley replied that he had relapsed after 13 years of refraining from drugs, and it was all because of a really bad divorce. All of these details were jotted down by the officer.
You can have that back.
Thank you. There will be no arrest.
What?
There will be no arrest?
No. Are there any drugs in the car or anything like that?
No, nothing.
Alright. How long have you had this problem, man?
It was a relapse. I've been clean for 13 years.
Alright.
Just went through a really, really bad divorce recently.
Okay. Do you know if any of that was laced with fentanyl or anything? Because you were out, and looked like you were choking.
Really?
Yeah. That's why somebody literally sprinted and flagged me down because they thought you were having a heart attack or choking.
No, not that I know of. I was just carrying it on the way. I adjusted.
Greg, I was on the second button and it was wrong for.
Sorry.
Sorry. Can you sit over towards the front of your car, please? Thank you. If you're unsteady on your feet, just find maybe one of those curves or something.
What are we?
It's to be noted that since Mr. Riley was initially caught while in possession of a crack pipe, this essentially falls under possession of paraphernalia. Rhode Island Code, Chapter 21-28.5 defines possession of paraphernalia as the following: when a defendant possesses equipment or materials that produce or aid in using or cultivating controlled substances. Also, possession of paraphernalia is punishable in Rhode Island by up to $5,000 in fines and/or up to 2 years in prison. Regardless, the officer then briefly looked inside Mr. Riley's vehicle and located the crack pipe that he had stashed in the center console upon waking up. Note that the officer refrained from digging too deep at this point, since he did not have his gloves on, so he resorted to using a pin to see if he could locate anything else. Then, Mr. Riley requested if it was possible for the officer to summon another officer to the scene, whom he knew personally. The officer agreed and dialed the other officer's number on his mobile phone. However, the conversation between both officers remained muted on the body cam, and some portions ahead also remained muted as a result of the officer turning the body cam audio on and off.
Can you 22 lobby for a civil complaint, please?
Careful.
Is Todd available?
You want me to get him over here?
Would you mind?
Yeah, I don't mind. Just do me a favor, can you come over to the front of mine? Thanks. Just hang out in the front while I make this phone call. Thanks.
Careful.
Amidst this, EMS arrived on the scene to check up on Mr. Riley and make sure he wasn't going to overdose or end up in a medical situation. By that time, more officers arrived on the scene, and the first officer then walked over to Mr. Riley's vehicle, this time with gloves on, to search for anything else that was illegal. Apart from trash and junk, the officer ended up finding a Chore Boy scrubber in the glove box. It's to be noted that Chore Boy is made of copper and metal. Drug users often use this to make a crack pipe. In addition to this, the officer found a small container that appeared to store some white powder. This, as expected, made it likely that Mr. Riley was indeed carrying drugs with him. The white powder was then tested to figure out what the substance was, and as expected, it turned out to be cocaine and fentanyl. This sealed the deal, and Mr. Riley had checked off every criterion for getting charged and arrested with possession of drugs.
What's wrong with this guy? It's your whole life. Down the drain for what?
So you don't know him at all? You guys don't?
No, I've never met him in my life.
I'll stay with Todd so.
Where was I'll snap a picture of it.
It was right in the center console, right there.
Just keep this on. I'll probably have you snap it. I don't want to touch it.
Okay. I can probably dig out just a smaller little rock so we don't have to break anything.
If we can get a little bit with the
powder?
Yeah. I'll do it. I'll touch it. Forget it.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward. Be careful, because he was on the nod, or like, it seemed like
sure
anyways.
It's mixed with something else, but...
Do you need this knife?
Yeah, let me use that.
Oh, he also has this. Never mind.
Yeah, I just be careful with that stuff. I don't know if that's fentanyl laced or not. There's white all over there. He doesn't know.
Yeah, I was just telling him the same thing, because, I mean, you don't fall asleep usually from completely, it's not an opiate usually.
It's enough.
He claims he was tired and he may have sleep apnea, but I don't think that's gonna
Right, especially like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, only climb a lot too. It's like you stick out like a sore thumb.
Well,
Right away.
fentanyl.
Coke.
Yeah.
Crack. Pop for crack. I can test it for fentanyl too.
Test it for both, just to make sure that I don't know what we're dealing with
Well,
him.
can you just snap a picture of that?
Especially if we're gonna put him in a cell. We're gonna watch him quick in case he goes down quick.
Right. Got it.
So we're gonna arrest him. He's gonna come in, and we'll charge him. And
He wants to tow a car, Major?
no, the cop can stay here. I'm not getting in it.
No,
Nobody's
they'll stay
getting in
like
it.
that. We'll have him call someone at the station. Have him come down.
He can have. I mean, he wants to have his mother come get the car, but I'm not gonna.
I wouldn't have him.
No, not getting in there, touching all that white powder. Is that's a piece
That
of
could be
crack?
big piece of
Yeah,
crack.
that's definitely crack.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, you can smell it, and he's burning up.
He has a bunch of toy boy and
Should we have it towed?
looks like he's like half living out of his car.
Not
There's
some
like
private property.
toiletries.
We're good. We're on private property. And this guy's
Yeah, look at this.
He's got a problem.
I'll do all the evidence stuff for him.
Thank you. All right, so is he rescue's good with him?
They're just finishing up right now.
he's got the Brillo and everything over there.
Yep.
You see it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's on. It's all.
They're finishing up right now.
That was in his glove compartment.
By that time, Mr. Riley had been checked and cleared by the paramedics on the scene. He was then promptly placed in handcuffs and engaged in conversation with the officers. He was told that he would thank them later for keeping him away from the line of drugs, and they wish that he gets over the habit soon.
She probably wants his phone. You're what?
I'm back on.
Okay. Got
All
his
right.
phone right here.
Yeah, just be careful with all that shit. We're not gonna touch it.
I'm going to reopen it again, so I'm seeing it up after this.
Is it your cell phone?
Yeah, it's right
Seize
here.
it,
Yeah,
please. Yes. I just got the
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I know. It's not like I have an option here, man. Sorry. Let me know if they're a little too tight or anything. They can loosen up.
Anything in your pants or anything? Nothing in there?
I mean, just water.
No, you got anything on you? Anything in your pants or anything?
I got gloves on.
Can't put this.
Alright.
There's stuff all over that car. When your mother gets in that car, I bet she sits in that and touches her face or mouth and goes down.
I had no idea there was anything like that.
So, look,
No, I mean the fentanyl.
yeah, you don't know what you're buying.
Yeah.
Did you buy that today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. And
Yeah.
You don't, is the same guy you usually buy it from?
I don't really usually buy it off anybody.
They're not all honest people.
No, I mean,
Once or twice.
yeah, but whoever you buy it from, if you continuously buy it from them, you know who you're buying it from. You don't know what people are putting in it.
No, I understand.
You know, they may have made that, but that's a big rock you got in there. What's that, a $50 piece?
100.
100?
Yeah,
So,
I just got back into this.
yeah, you gotta, this is gonna, listen, this is terrible situation. We're all in a tough spot, but we gotta do what we gotta do right by the numbers. It'll help you in the end. Believe me when I tell you. And you'll say to us a month from now, good, best thing that ever happened to me. That's what they all tell us. You can't go down this road anymore.
No.
God forbid we
wasn't
find
going
you
to.
dead. That's terrible. You know what I mean? You were down in the car.
No, I have an appointment set up for the 17th to go get help.
Yeah.
As the conversation went on, Mr. Riley brought up his political career and hoped that this situation wouldn't affect it. He asked whether this incident would be made public and whether the arrest records would be out there for anyone to see. But to his disappointment, he was told that every arrest record must be made public by law.
You gotta get on a program right away.
No,
I look at you.
Yeah.
You're not the Matt Riley that we know. Trust me. And listen. Your health and your well-being is worth way more than any political career.
I don't care.
Yeah, we'll keep it. We'll keep it. Listen, we're not. We don't report nothing to the media unless someone tells them. So, and then arrest records are public record. I'm not gonna lie to you. But
we can do for the kids.
there's not much we can do on this. If I was in your situation, I'd be in handcuffs.
No, I'm not saying.
You know?
I'm not saying don't arrest them.
Yeah,
I'm saying
yeah.
In terms of media for the kids, as much as
Yeah, no,
it's
listen,
fine.
we are only required to release what we release, and we have to release an arrest record by law, you know. All right, jump in before you. We just want to make sure we got to monitor you because you've taken
Just,
in
I'm going to pat you down again, all right?
You've taken in some fentanyl, Matt, and that's you know, we've got to make sure you may not feel it right now, but God forbid something happens to you.
Yeah, no, I've never done that
feel
before,
terrible
so.
about that, you know. I mean, you're not going to be there all day. You'll be in and out.
I'm going to keep your wallet with me. I have your phone already. You want me to throw this stuff in the car real quick?
Sure.
All right. Just step on in here.
Well, it goes without saying that this did indeed affect Mr. Riley's career as a whole. Mr. Riley was ultimately taken to the Rhode Island Department of Corrections, where he was charged with 1 count of drug possession and later arraigned with a bail commissioner. He was then released and currently awaits a court appearance set for June 15, 2023. Judging by the charges leveled against Mr. Riley, the penalties for drug possession are spelled out in the Uniform Controlled Substances Act, Chapter 21-28 of the Rhode Island General Laws. A first offense drug conviction can carry up to 3 years in prison and a fine of between $500 and $5,000. The court may also force a defendant to perform up to 100 hours of unpaid community service, pay a $400 fee to the Rhode Island State Hospitals, and undergo mandatory drug treatment. Mr. Riley has since resigned from his position as the chairman of the Cranston Republican Party. Cranston Mayor Ken Hopkins released a statement following Mr. Riley's resignation, which highlighted that his office had accepted the decision made by Mr. Riley. Mayor Hopkins added that, I feel that it's in the best interest of the city, his constituents. I also feel that personally, it's in his best interest for him, for his family's privacy, and for the constituents of Ward 6. Also,